Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, December 17th, 2022. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We have our ridge of high pressure right there to the north of the Caribbean. We also have a cold front stretching from North Atlantic all the way down, still affecting portions of Florida, the Bahamas, as well as Cuba with some amount of rainfall. And now we have a trough that is attached to the tail end of that cold front. To the south and the east of that high pressure ridge, we have another cold front stretching all the way from the northeastern portions of the North Atlantic all the way down towards the northeastern Caribbean. And when we actually take a look at the satellite images again, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front that's stretching all the way from northeastern portions of North Atlantic all the way down, sending some nice clouds into portions of Guadeloupe and Dominica, and they're still gonna be receiving some more rainfall from that. You can also see some clouds affecting portions of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola as well, and we can also see the clouds associated with that cold front that was mentioned still affecting portions of the Bahamas, Cuba, as well as Florida. Alright, so let us focus our attention on Jamaica. So let me play the latest images. So for today, from the afternoon hours, we saw that we had some rainfall across eastern Jamaica, but during the afternoon we got a buildup of clouds across portions of inland areas of central and western Jamaica. We didn't talk much about that yesterday in the forecast, but it is exactly what took place in the afternoon hours. All of that buildup of air, all of those clouds across portions of central and western Jamaica. And what did it lead to? It led to this. A post was made on Twitter by Trevor Forrest. He stated that a funnel cloud, usually pre-tornado over land, so somewhere in central or southeastern Jamaica, got in on that funnel cloud. We usually see these things right before a tornado spawns. Yes, these things can happen in Jamaica. It is not foreign for it to be happening. It actually happens here, but gladly it was nothing destructive, although it can get there. It is possible if we actually have the right ingredients for that kind of weather. Luckily Jamaica gets it rarely. And even another person stated that they saw this very funnel cloud as well. From another point of view, this is Blacksberry, so they got a different point of view of that very same funnel cloud. Yes, these things can happen in Jamaica. Alright, so if we actually take a look at the latest satellite or Doppler radar images, we saw that we still had some amount of moderate to strong rainfall across portions of southwestern St. Elizabeth as well as portions of Westmoreland up in the evening hours. And when we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, yes, just as predicted, we had some amount of rainfall across portions of eastern Jamaica, but it was actually central and western Jamaica that stole the show for today with that afternoon rainfall, that build up of air causing all the clouds to pile up and cause some amount of rainfall across portions of central and western Jamaica, still receiving some rainfall across portions of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth at this time. Let's talk about the temperatures for tonight, shall we? So it looks like a 25 degrees Celsius across Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Ocho Rios, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, the usual 21 degrees Celsius temperatures in the hills of Mandeville right there. And if we actually take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow according to both the Euro and the GFS model, yes, we're anywhere in average, the normal kind of temperatures, to slightly below normal in the eastern part of the island right there. So nothing drastic for tomorrow, no cold temperatures, no above average or warmer than normal temperatures. And if we actually take a look at the wind forecast by both the Euro and the GFS model for tomorrow, we're having an easterly flow across the island anywhere from 5 to let's say 20 knots. Okay, and then if we actually look in the central portions of the island, the central and western portions of inland areas, we see where the blues get darker, so we have less wind. What does that mean? All of that air from the east is going to be piling up and probably causing some amount of afternoon convection, and the easterly flow might even bring in some rainfall off the sea into portions of St. Thomas and Portland. So it makes sense that when we look at the Euro model, we see some blues popping up across portions of St. Thomas and Portland, eastern Jamaica in general, 10 a.m. on Sunday. The GFS is showing something similar. We know that when we have agreement or consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much greater. It even spills into 4 p.m. and the blues, take themselves into portions of central and western Jamaica as well in the afternoon. So all of that air that's piling up, building up of clouds, maybe some afternoon rainfall inland areas of central and western Jamaica. So that's where we have the consensus, 4 p.m. as well as 5 p.m. with the same blues. And if you actually take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, yes, all the greens represent somewhere from 0.05 to almost 0.3 inches of rainfall, especially across eastern Jamaica on the Euro. The GFS, yes, we're still having some greens, but not as robust as the Euro model. So it makes sense that our work is here with the Jamaica made a post stating or showing the same maps that were just shown. Rain for eastern Jamaica in the morning, and then rain for central and western Jamaica during the afternoon. Alright, so that's it for the weather across Jamaica and the forecast. Let's talk about the Caribbean, the Atlantic again. So yes, we spoke of that cold front to the north of that high pressure to the north of Cuba, as well as the other cold front to the northeast of the Caribbean, and we also spoke about the images showing where these significant features are located. But let's talk about the Doppler radar images across the entire region for a second. So these Doppler radar images are showing what took place from 1:15 p.m. all the way up to this hour after 7 p.m. So we can see where all these greens represent some amount of rainfall. So yes, we had some amount of rainfall across Puerto Rico, portions of the Leeward Islands, maybe some isolated scattered showers. Guadeloupe, definitely with that tail end of that cold front. Dominica as well, even all the way up to this hour, 7:05 p.m. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see where yes, we had some rainfall recorded across portions of Dominica. Not to mention even Trinidad got in on some rainfall across portions of northern Trinidad as well as southeastern Trinidad as well. And if we actually take a look at the rest of the Caribbean, because the other Doppler radar images weren't showing the southern portions like that. So portions of Guyana, portions of Suriname, portions of French Guyana, not to mention Colombia still getting in on some amount of rainfall. Yes, portions of Mexico and Belize, just like what we saw on the satellite images. So all of these clouds are representing all of that rainfall across portions of Guyana, Suriname, as well as French Guyana. Not to mention portions of Colombia, as well as Honduras getting in on some rainfall there as well. Alright, so let's just take a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow. Both the Euro and the GFS model for the Caribbean are showing easterly flow anywhere from 10 to 20 or to 25 knots across especially the Windward Islands. The Euro and the GFS are in agreement with that. Strong brisk easterly wind around that area of high pressure right there. And with that easterly wind, we might get some rainfall. Where do we see the agreement? The Euro and the GFS are still dominant, with showing some amount of rainfall coming out of that cold front and that trough across portions of the northern Bahamas, Florida, as well as the northwestern tip of Cuba. Yes, the rainfall for eastern Jamaica on the Euro, not so much on the GFS. Hispaniola though getting in on some rainfall across portions of northeastern portions of Dominican Republic. Northern Puerto Rico might get in on some rainfall as seen on both maps. Let's look to the Leeward Islands now. Where is all of the focus of the rain? The same spots that are being affected by the tail end of that cold front. So Guadeloupe from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. Still getting in on some rainfall in Guadeloupe and Dominica on both maps. What about the southern portions? Look at South America. Look at Trinidad. Trinidad getting in on some rainfall up to almost 0.5 inches of rainfall on both maps. The location of the actual rainfall differs on both maps though, but look at South America now. So Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana still getting in on some rainfall, up to an inch of rainfall or more. Portions of Colombia as well as Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, the usual spots in Central America, are in agreement on both models to receive some amount of rainfall, up to even an inch of rainfall, especially in Costa Rica right there. Alright, so that's it for the weather across Jamaica. Thank you all for watching.